Hello. Welcome to the Free Bin, Toledo, Oregon Public Library's podcast. I'm Harrison.
And I'm Cindy.
And we've got a fun episode for you today to close out our summer reading program.
We do. Although we still have 2 weeks left, you can turn in your reading logs, pick up your t-shirt if you haven't done that yet.
Yes.
We got lots going on, so don't feel like, oh, summer's over and there's nothing going on at the library. That's wrong.
That is wrong. Yeah. I misspoke in saying end of summer reading, but our last performer was earlier this week.
That's right.
You still have a couple of weeks till the end of August to get your reading logs in, get your t-shirts, and we've got plenty more planned for you.
We do. So here's what's upcoming. August 21st, which is the Thursday night, is the second of 3 events for our Oregon Humanities Grant and the National Endowment for the Humanities. They are part of the conversation in our community. So this one is a conversation about the future of Toledo with community stakeholders. We'll have reps from the council, the downtown Toledo Chamber, Art Toledo, and the pool, and then a community rep. And so come listen to what they have to say, ask your questions. It will be a panelist discussion focused mainly and foremostly on the future of Toledo and what we want to see. And for kids and teens, we have got the Switch 2 Mario Kart Tournament.
Yes.
Woo! August 29th. I don't have the time on here.
I don't have the time in there either.
Well, you have to come in and sign up or call to sign up. So we have a lot of people signed up on this tournament, and I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but come on in and sign yourself up. And then on that day, the 29th, which is a Saturday, you can come in and play the tournament and be crowned king or queen or ruler or emperor of the Switch 2 Mario Kart.
And since it's been asked several times, we have a Switch 2, we have controllers, we have Mario Kart World. You do not have to bring your own game console. That would be a pretty lame thing for us to do, to host a program and then require you to bring your own everything.
Right.
So, we've got it all here for you. This is Mario Kart World. This is the newest Mario Kart, the Switch 2 Mario Kart. So, it's still, people are still figuring this one out.
Yeah, so it should be interesting.
So we're not going to be doing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that people have spent over a decade of metagaming and sweating out. This is get in on the ground floor of this one.
Right.
And it would be maybe a little more intense if we did the other one, because I've been playing that one online, and man, people have solved that game.
Yeah. I think this will be good because it'll kind of give everybody an even playing ground, because not that many people have that one to play. So we're excited to do that. And then on August 22nd, we have our outdoor movie night. We are showing a Minecraft movie. We will have popcorn for people, and bring your blankets, your lawn chairs. We're going to blow up our screen, and we're going to have an outdoor movie night. If there is inclement weather, we will move it inside. But it will be happening free for all ages, a Minecraft movie, and free popcorn. So, and that's at 7.
If we do it downstairs, we'll release a bunch of crickets inside, so it feels like
it's outside, and then Harrison will catch them all before they move upstairs
with my hands.
That's right, not a net. So that's what's happening at the library.
A lot going on.
It is. It's exciting, and you might note that our air horn isn't going off frequently, and that is because we do not have Sophia here to set it off.
Well, I can help with that. There we go.
All right. Thank you. Sophia just happens to be out today, and we needed to get this on the book. So next week, I'm sure she'll be back.
Yes.
And the air horn will blow.
Yes. On the soundboard.
All right.
Before we get started with our topic, I did bring not the most adventurous drink. It's a classic.
A classic.
It's a classic. A modern classic.
Oh, yeah.
Mountain Dew Code Red cherry flavor.
Cherry flavor. This is a favorite at my house.
I like it.
Not for me.
I don't know if I've ever actually had a Mountain. I'm sure I have. I like it because it's such a great contrast between the extreme name of a soda. It's Code Red. The most like friendly, innocuous cherry flavor.
Yeah, that's true.
Extreme cherry flavor.
You would expect it to be like Code Red, like it's exciting or it's just cherry flavor.
Like a hot cinnamon or something. But no.
That would be good.
Code Red.
Mountain Dew, I don't think, has ever done a cinnamon.
No, they probably shouldn't. Although it could be good.
Just a little flavor. They could call it Mountain Dew Hot and Tot. That's what we called them when we would get that, which is a Coke with cinnamon in it. For those of you who have never experienced a Hot and Tot.
There we go.
So, all right. Oh, I don't need that much.
You don't need that much?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right.
He's trying to pour me like the whole thing.
Code Red, taking it to the limit. Extra maraschino cherries on my vanilla ice cream, Mom.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Slightly less.
It smells good, though. I think it smells, it kind of smells like green Mountain Dew.
I like the turnaround. Smells good. Well.
Well, it kind of smells. It just smells like Mountain Dew to me.
It kind of smells like a car wash. Automated.
Oh, maybe. Wow. It's got that maraschino cherry.
Urinal cake.
Oh, come on. Not really. Don't. I want to know why you think it tastes like that, because have you ever tasted one?
Tastes like it smells. Retronasally. I cannot speak to the...
Thank God. Yeah. Thank goodness that you do not speak to the firsthand knowledge of what a urinal cake smells like. Honestly, this podcast just degrades when it's you and I.
I have to be honest for the listeners.
Sakes.
All right.
Well, actually, it's not bad, and I know why. It's just full of sugar and cherry flavor, and that's pretty much it. So
it is
caffeine.
It's cherry flavored sugar, and all the things that it smells like are just other cherry scented things, which is why the list is so long and sometimes disturbing.
Yeah.
Depends on how you want to think.
Right. So what are we talking about today, Harrison?
We are talking about tropes today.
Oh, I got a couple good ones I found.
Yeah, so first off, here's a trope for you.
Okay.
Is defining the word that you're going to talk about.
Right.
Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines. All right, so I'm going to tell you what trope means.
It's a small word with a big meaning.
Trope, definition 1 from the old MW, is a word or expression used in a figurative sense or a figure of speech. Definition 2, definition B, is a common or overused theme or device, a cliche. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a recurring element in fiction. This could be movies, music, games.
Yep.
And a major resource for this is a great website that I've started using to pull themed displays of movies.
Right. We should advertise your display. You just put a new one up.
Yeah. I put up a new display, and the trope is it's 3 words: futile hand reach.
That's right.
And I pulled some movies that feature this moment wherein a character reaches desperately for another, usually while screaming, no! So a common source for this, a lot of you may be familiar with, is TV Tropes at tvtropes.org. Website started in 2004 by Fast Eddie. And it's a communal...
That's a trope.
It's a communal effort. It's kind of like Wikipedia for tropes. And it's not in a pejorative sense, right? The fact that a work features this or that common trope does not mean that work is derivative or unoriginal or lazy. Everything that we create as storytellers relies on tropes. If we didn't reuse things, if we didn't use common elements, then everything we created would be totally abstract and incomprehensible. So TV Tropes is a project to identify, name, and catalog like every trope that occurs in like every medium. It's a lot of fun. It's a great rabbit hole to go down.
It is. I got lost there today. I did. But some of the famous trope things is like, for me, and we were talking about this earlier, is walking into a dark room in a thriller. And my first thought as an audience member is turn on the light. I mean, come on, people, the electricity's not out. Turn on the light. And they walk into the room and then something sneaks in behind them because they didn't look both ways when they came through the door, even though they're sneaking through the haunted house. So, those kinds of tropes or those show up a lot in thrillers. But I just, we spoke a couple weeks ago about Jurassic World, which, it's controversial conversation. Just remember that. But in the Jurassic movies, there's a lot of that. The dinosaur does a lot of sneaking up on people in the woods. And it's like, some of it makes sense, though. For example, and this is a rabbit hole I've gone down, in the original Jurassic Park movie, for those of you who watched it, when the hunter character is sneaking through the woods to turn off the electricity or turn it back on, he is surrounded by velociraptors. And that could be just really tropish, but it makes sense in the context of the movie and the character. So they're sneaking up on him. We know they are. He doesn't know that until the realization hits him and the irony, I don't know if that's the right word, of the hunter then being hunted. And it makes kind of this, so it could be considered a trope, but it fits into the plot. And a lot of time tropes do that. Sometimes they're very obvious that it's like tongue in cheek for the director. But, and we know it, they know it, the actors know it, and we all accept it. A related one, or maybe an example of the same thing that I've always loved, is in a supernatural horror film when there's a ghost or something that is doing that thing of lurking around behind the character or in a reflection, where just being spooky and being weird and in a way that nobody is observing doing this. The audience does not exist in the film, so the only person in the room is not seeing it. So what is this even, without being for the benefit of the audience, this behavior for any natural or supernatural entity makes no sense. Just spending a couple minutes just going, oh, and drifting past doorways. It's completely ridiculous, but it only works it's strictly there to be scary for the audience. But it's absurd if you look at it in context of. It's the same thing with, the person in the scary house goes in and looks in the mirror and then opens the mirror and gets something out. And when they shut the mirror, there's somebody there. We all know that's going to happen, but we all are like, oh, jump scare, or, ooh, that's scary. So if a director uses it correctly and uses it well, the audience doesn't care. There are movies, and I probably can't come up with any off the top of my head, or books too, that you read and you go, oh, I know what's going to happen, because we all know that trope. So I think, And a trope that's overused to the point that everybody expects it, that provides another opportunity at a certain point for a writer or a director to subvert that trope, or to surprise. Because now like you're saying, every time a character opens a bathroom mirror cupboard, we expect there to be a ghost or murderer behind them when they shut it. So now you do start seeing that moment in movies where it doesn't happen. And that's used then to build tension because Right. Oh, yeah.
It's
I can think of
always
a few of those that you're like, oh, no. And then, oh. And then something happens. They use it in a clever way that kind of gets you to relax your guard, where you're waiting to be scared, and then you kind of go, oh, and then it happens and it scares you. There's a scene back to Jurassic Park, because this is what's in my head, I guess. When the main character runs to again turn on the thing, and you're expecting her the entire time she's sneaking through the building to, one, get eaten by velociraptors or find something, awful. And again, the director of that, which Spielberg.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I'll have to punch it in post.
That director used that so well to build tension that you do not expect it at the time that it happens. So there's a scene where she's in a corridor and this bloody arm drops down because it got eaten, and you're like, and that's a scare. And you're like, okay, she's in the building, she's fine now that we've had our scare. And then she gets to turn on the electricity, and that's where it happens. Is this and I must confess, because I hate jump scares, but I love them at the same time. I was in the movie theater in Thermopolis, Wyoming, sitting next to my sister-in-law when I saw this movie for the first time, and I literally leaped out of my seat and landed on the floor because it made me jump so much because it was not expected. There's that, we already got that scare. And so then when they added that second one in, it was very clever on the part of the director. There's
my favorite jump scare, and it isn't a jump scare really, was Lake Mungo from 2008. It's a mockumentary style horror film. It's more sad and ominous and spooky than scary. It has the feel of Unsolved Mysteries. Like it's that feeling stretched into a feature-length fictional narrative, interviews with people, the characters, right? And it has a moment, and it's very divisive. People either say this movie was boring and I feel like it didn't go anywhere, depending on what you expect, or people love it and it's the saddest, scariest thing I've seen. I happen to watch it under circumstances that made it very effective for me. I watched it in the middle of the night alone with my cat in the dark, and I was ready for it. But it does have a moment that it feels like a jump scare, but it's served to you slowly, gently on a plate. Like it doesn't throw a spider in your face. It just gently sets the spider on your head. And so I've never had a movie do the thing where I realized what I was seeing right just before I saw it. Like there's a little bit of processing time of like, what is this? Oh, I know what this it is, right? And if you're in the mindset, and if the movie manages to get you in that groove, it's such a weird scare. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work on you. But if you're in the headspace, the timing is just really fascinating because it's a really quick, like a smooth crescendo and not a blah in the mirror scare. So I hope I didn't ruin the movie in saying that. No,
but people will be watching it going, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, and it may not work for you, but when it works, man, it works. And I had nobody to talk to but my cat, and I turned to him at 3 a.m. and I said, "Did you see that?" And he didn't, but he humored me.
Helpful.
He made me feel better. Yeah.
All right. So I picked a couple of tropes that I and part of it is I went on the tvtrope.org website, and I looked for a couple of things, but the one that I just finished reading a book. We have the whole series here in the library. It starts out with the Anatomist's wife, and I'll have to have Harrison look up the author. I think it's Huber, Huber.
Anna Lee Huber.
And it's a kind of a gothic horror a mystery. So it's about a young woman, and I won't give it away. She solves mysteries. But it's set back in the 1830s. It's very gothic feel to it. And the trope that is in this book that it just brought it to mind is called the little did I know trope. So it's usually uttered by the main character or the narrator to the audience or the reader to indicate that a major plot is just about to happen. I was just an ordinary high school student, that normal peaceful day. Little did I know that this was going to change, or I thought it was over. Little did I know it had just begun. And it actually finds its beginning, that its origin in 19th century English romance Gothic novels. So this is the era I'm reading this novel in, this Anatomist's Wife. The heroine innocently takes a position or visits some place where evil lurks or adventure looms behind a calm, civilized veneer. She begins the narrative of the novel with classic British understatement, something like this: if I had known that I would soon be facing a madman with an axe in these dark catacombs, I would have never had the courage to get on the train to Sussex that fateful day last summer. So in the book I was reading, the last book ended with the character has started kind of a little relationship with someone else in there, with a man. And she said, she was on her way to her next place where she was going to be. And it was, I didn't know when I would meet up with him next. Little did I know it would be so soon. And I thought, and so that's like the perfect trope. And that leads you right into the second novel. So there's a lot of those.
Yeah, you said it starts with like the Gothic literature of the 19th century, and that it's like the less extreme version of kind of the Lovecraft opener in a first person story that's like, I don't know how much longer I'll be alive. Right. I have to tell you what happened. I can't believe this happened to me. Like that's like kind of the desperate early 20th century ramped up version of little did I know. The horrors that I've unleashed.
I know. And see, that's a trope all in itself. Yeah. It's that looking back, kind of that the narrator is looking back on all the events that happened and starts with the story and then goes back. That's very much a trope too.
I will say the urgency in some of those Lovecraft stories is funny because it's like cosmic horrors have been loosed into the world, and I may not make it through the night, but I'm going to write an extremely verbose, unnecessarily descriptive story about how I got here.
What could be said was, I screwed up, and this is sorry. Yeah. So there are a couple other ones where I looked under books, like what have books and libraries been used as a trope, and so that one of the tropes is the tome of Eldritch lore, and that trope is that books that describe things beyond the mortal ken. Okay, how many books and movies have you seen where there is the book? You know, and tomes also, like one of them is also tomes of prophecy and fate, books that contain prophecies and predictions of things to come. Those are always, I mean, in any kind of fantasy book, and I could probably go and pick out 30 of them from our fantasy sci-fi section that have this kind of basis, this trope for their plot. And I did like this one too, which is an actual movie trope, and it happens in books too, but it's called the rushed inverted reading. A character hurriedly grabs a book to make it appear that they were innocently reading, but the book is being held upside down. And I thought, oh yeah, I've seen that. Lots and lots of times.
I gotta say, as a kid going into any library, the tome of Eldritch lore is something that I always wanted to find. What's the oldest, creepiest book?
Yeah.
So as soon as I was in a position to do any form of collection development, I made sure we had at least one, like one of the good fake, early 19th century European grimoires on there, so you can have the spooky.
It's a grimoire.
It's a grimoire. Unfortunately, no ghosts or spooky choir sounds come out of it. It's just a bunch of fake stuff.
Are
but
you
it's
saying
still fun.
It doesn't light up like the?
We got to get some LEDs so that so it glows with a.
One of my favorite movies is The Mummy, and the Book of the Dead is this trope. That the Book of the Dead will open up all these opportunities.
Yeah.
And they came up with a great prop of that book.
Yeah. Again, a Lovecraft thing. The Necronomicon is kind of the template for a lot of the haunted book.
Right.
tropes.
Right. Another one that's kind of in the same vein is a portal book. So a book that can transport someone to the world of its story or illustration. And I will tell you some really good books by Chris Colfer called The Land of Stories. That is the trope he uses to introduce all of those things. Is there is a book that opens and the characters interact with that. So that's a trope about books. Do you want me to keep going? Because I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't want to ping pong it. I want you to roll through it, then I'll do mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing I looked for was evil librarians. Because heck yeah, I'd love to be an evil librarian. I just don't have it in me to be evil. But librarians, I'm just going to read what they wrote. Librarians can be intimidating, and as everyone knows, knowledge is dangerous, and this is kind of a trope. And that means that people who control the knowledge might be dangerous too. So there's a sci-fi for you. Evil librarians in fiction come in a variety of forms. They can be cult members. I have time for that.
I don't know it. I don't hang out with enough people to.
Yeah, that's right. Who believe either that the world is not ready. Okay, that's another trope for any advanced knowledge, or an organization that they are an organization that controls the flow of knowledge. So that's one that's used. We have a whole series of books called. It starts with the library, the book. Oh shoot, I can't remember. I'll go look it up.
Really, really would put them at odds with the ALA's code of ethics and
right, and intellectual freedom and all of that.
You can't be doing that.
No, we'd get in trouble.
You can be in your nefarious cult when you're off of work, but here
at the library, man,
books available.
That's right. They might even be literal monsters in some cases.
No comment.
We're not telling. We're controlling the flow of knowledge. In some cases, when you go in, like if your librarian is a literal monster, then it's going to be dangerous in the library. It's not dangerous here, folks.
It's not.
Sometimes it's only a single librarian who is evil. If that's the case, they're probably some variety of manipulator, because you and I are so good at that. We can manipulate people. I can
manipulate a Rubik's Cube. It takes me a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
People, nah.
As they are presumably familiar with the human mind from reading so much. We're dangerous because we read, Harrison.
Yeah.
Anybody can be an evil librarian if that's the criteria.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. Learning how to manipulate people by reading a book. It's kind of like learning karate from reading a book. You might get some generalities, but it's not gonna be getting into practice real well.
Right. Also, because we're evil, librarians are evil. Their reactions to overdue or damaged books might be high fees or murder. We promise we won't murder you. But they gave us an example. I have 3 examples, and then I have one that is kind of silly. But Barbara Gordon from Batman was a librarian. She was also a superhero who rode a motorcycle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Barbara Gordon's a Batgirl from Batman.
I don't know all my Batman lore. Is Barbara Gordon related to Commissioner Gordon?
Yes, it's his daughter.
Oh, all right.
Yes. Well, in Batman from television, just FYI. I'm not going to say for sure in the comic books because I would get in trouble with my husband if I was wrong. So, Marion the librarian from Music Man. And the reason that they gave, and the reason I think too, is that Marion is back in the day, this is set in the Gibson Girl era, so 1909-ish. She is defending the right for kids to read. And so that they created this Marion the librarian. Her name just happened to rhyme with librarian.
Yeah, just a total coincidence.
Total coincidence.
Really lucky for,
the songwriter.
Yeah. It's a great coincidence.
Who also wrote the book. And then this might be obscure to people who are, if you were watching TV in the 90s, Rupert Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And there was a really funny thing, the guy who wrote the article, and I didn't quote it in here, but he's like, Rupert Giles is a school librarian at the high school, and he helps Buffy solve mysteries and part of her team to kill vampires or whatever she's doing. And, but he only helps about 5 students a year. So we have to say probably he's not a good librarian if he's only helping those 5. So, they have other tropes related to libraries. There's the cute bookworm, the girl who, a cute, smart person. They always wear glasses and they spend time in the library. That's totally a trope. Although I'm cute and I wear glasses and I spend time in the library. And then, your evil librarians, the genius book club is a trope. The hot librarians who are attractive. Loony librarian, the scatterbrained, obsessive, eccentric librarian. And we see a lot of that.
As Cindy's looking at me or... trying not to look at me too long.
I don't know. Would you classify yourself under obsessive or eccentric?
I don't know.
As I don't think you're scatterbrained particularly.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. A magic librarian, the librarian who can do magic. I can make a balloon animal. Does that make me a magic librarian?
I can make a sandwich disappear.
Yeah. See, we're magic. Mystery writer, detective, a mystery writer who solves actual crimes. That is such a huge trope. Oh my gosh. Castle books, all the Castle are that trope. Who did we see on TV? Mrs. Fletcher.
Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote. Plunderers of knowledge. Okay. Knowledge collectors for whom violence is the primary approach, and books, the number one source of knowledge, are usually the highest priority target. I don't know about that one. I can't think of one. And scary librarians. We are not scary. Maybe we're a little scary. I don't think so. We're not scary.
The plunderers of knowledge trope there does have, as I understand it, a historical precedent, because some of the big libraries of the ancient to medieval worlds, they'd send people out, grab stuff. Like when a ship would come into the harbor, like the Library of Alexandria, I'd heard. And you fact check me on this, would take any written documents, copy them down, add them to the library. Sometimes take the originals, copy them, and return the copies to the people who brought them.
Right.
So,
and they would say, well, that's how we share knowledge. Okay.
We don't do that here.
We don't do that. We won't do that to you. All right, I got a few more. I just wanted to say, too, since we're talking about tropes and about, all of these, I have a list. I'm not going to read them all because there's 25 of movies about libraries, or where the library features quite a lot. And we all know the movie Matilda, the book Matilda by Roald Dahl. And having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. So that's a quote for the movie, though sometimes magical powers help you, and that's true too.
A little bit.
The Pagemaster is an old movie from the well, it's from 2009. I guess that's not old. But the Pagemaster.
It is now, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Even though, so it's a great movie for kids.
Is it? I thought the Pagemaster was much older.
I thought it was in the 90s myself, but maybe
Keep
this
going.
is.
Let me double check.
So the Pagemaster is a book about a little boy, Macaulay Culkin, who finds himself. It's one of those movies that starts in the real world and then he gets transported through a magical portal.
94.
Yeah, 94.
Couldn't have been 2009 because he wasn't a little boy
maybe
in
that's
2009.
Yeah. So he gets transported and he takes 3 books with him. He takes horror and adventure and fantasy. 3 books with him. And it's so good. It's such a cute movie. And it's got Patrick Stewart does the voice of the adventure. And it's so funny and written. I just love it. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. Look, I never saw it. I remember I was.
Oh, it's so good. And I'm sure we have it here at the library.
Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. He's horror. He's so good.
Frank Welker is.
Oh, maybe he's horror.
Horror.
Who's?
Christopher Lloyd is Mr. Dewey.
Oh, he's the bad guy.
Frank Welker. I love Frank Welker. Have we talked about Frank Welker on the podcast?
So. We might have to do that.
He was. He's all your animals in your movies, your Disney movies.
Okay.
He was the monkey in Aladdin. He was the tiger in Aladdin. He's
he
every
does all
lion
the oddball
roaring
kind of things.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is, I believe, the current Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
And
he's on at my house a lot.
And he's also, is it Fred in Scooby-Doo? Mm-hmm. The original Fred. And now he's Scooby-Doo. He does everything. Yeah.
All right. So we mentioned the Mummy already. One of my favorite. Every once in a while I'll say, I am a librarian. And I always think of her line in that as she's drunk and ends up opening the Book of Death, which is probably not a good thought. The Breakfast Club, for those of you who remember that movie, The Breakfast Club, they are in detention in the library, which just cracks me up because I would be fine in detention in the library. Music Man, we mentioned that. There is also, I was going to say, some other tropes that we see, like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. There's quite a lot of trope-ish kinds of things in those, but the diary, the book that holds the answers, his father's diary, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, those Indiana Jones movies are just collections of beloved tropes from adventure films executed very, very well.
And they work so well. We don't even notice. Oh, who can forget the library scene in Ghostbusters?
No human being would stack books this way.
Right, that's right. I love that one. And then let's see, National Treasure, of course. He ends up in the Library of Congress, which was really interesting to me because they filmed it in the Library of Congress. And this is a little bit of library nerdness, the Dewey Decimal System and the way the Library of Congress does their cataloging is part of the plot, which I think is just great.
The plot? I've never seen it. It involves LOC classification? Yeah,
and so he's given a series of numbers by I might give it away. Oh, it's old. You guys, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. He's given a clue in a series of numbers, and it's a call number for a book in the Library of Congress.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, it might not be accurate, but dang it, it was cool.
I'll have to check that out.
And then, of course, Clue, the movie, the dead body in the library. So I'm just saying. There's a lot of stuff. I'm just going to close with one more library. Then I'm going to let Harrison talk. But I'm going to share 2 books at the end that you might be interested in that are very tropish. The one movie that is... that I remember when somebody said something about, the trope of being in the library and everything. So in the movie, The Day After Tomorrow, have you seen that movie?
I have not.
It's a disaster movie, and the Ice Age comes early. And a group of people get stuck in the library in New York City. and they're freezing to death. So they start burning the books in the fireplace. And there's this one character who's like, we can't burn the books. I mean, they're freaking out because they're tossing these books but they're trying to stay alive. And I always thought that scene was like, because part of me would be the same way. It'd be like, wait, we can't burn these, or let's only burn the romance. Let's not burn the nonfiction. Let's please, come on, guys. Let's think about what we're doing here. And it's just really interesting how that it created quite a fire and it kept them alive for a very long time. But it's still like, oh my goodness, I would be the same way. I would be like, no, we can't burn the books. That would be awful. Anyway, so I'm gonna let Harrison talk.
I've got a few tropes to run down, some of my favorites. Do you want some more Mountain Dew Code Red?
I still have some, thank you.
Got some more. So my favorite trope, and again, this does kind of relate to libraries, more than kinda, and I couldn't find the entry for it in TV tropes. I wanted to look at what it's been called in there. It's in there somewhere, I'm sure, but I could not pull it up. But it's the scene in a horror movie or a thriller where the protagonist has to research some horrible secret or past exposition by going to the microfilm collection of a library or archive and sitting again with the lights off, which kind of makes sense if you're using like the old-fashioned optical microfilm thing. You would want the lights off and scrolling through the microfilm, which then becomes an element of suspense and hearing it whir and then finding the picture and going, oh, what's this? And then flipping through more and saying, oh, that's impossible. No. And then, having it dramatically rewind and and I love that scene in a movie. It's not as dramatic using microfiche, although people confuse the two. Microfilm is on a reel, so you get that nice scrolling through the reel. Microfiche is the one that's a flat card. It's much less dramatic when you're bumping the little card around. Like, oh, right, there. Oh, what happened? 1902? Okay. You got to have that.
Right, the sound.
Scroll, to punctuate that interaction. And I love it. It's a silly thing, but I love those scenes.
Having used our microfilm machine and tried to find specific things, it doesn't happen that fast.
No.
You don't just hit a button and it scrolls to the correct page. Let me
I think we assume, or at least I assume, watching those scenes that this is the slow parts have been edited out.
Right.
It's a montage. It's an implied montage.
Just because it's impossible to land on the first page that you want. I'm telling you, folks.
I do, though, when I sit down to find like some old news article in our microfilm collection, I do always kind of hope I'm going to accidentally discover that someone I know is a vampire, find a picture of them from 1893 that looks exactly the same. That would be so satisfying. Another trope that's you were talking about Jurassic Park and a lot of creature movies, monster movies. This is as old as sound, but it's what TV tropes has named roar before beating, of the monster that does this elaborate roar or growl as it attacks somebody. And it doesn't always make a lot of sense, especially when the monster's supposed to be about to eat somebody. And, if something is trying to catch food, it's not going to also be doing something that scares food away. So I love the monster roaring and making this big threat display while it's trying to eat somebody. And it's like, that would not work. That's a very ineffective predator.
Right.
And I find that one interesting too, because I feel like those scenes would be a lot scarier if the monster was not doing a whole stagey theatrical monster display if it did just grab somebody and drag them off, which sometimes in some of those Jurassic Park movies and stuff, they do use that to good effect of having a predatory animal behave like a predatory animal, and people just get yanked off through the cornfield or whatever. There is
that. I was just thinking the same kind of opposite of that loud, here comes the predator thing, to the one that is like, I think the movie Relic, because it's scary in its own way, but just the premise is scary. But I think that when they're sneaking around in the, trying to get places, and people, you see like the glowing eyes, but you don't hear anything. You just see glowy eyes behind the person, and then whoops, they're gone. And that's another trope too, that walking through the jungle and people start disappearing. That's like, oh, okay. That's a very well used trope in a lot of movies.
The glowing eyes reminds me of kind of an iconic thing in the Splinter Cell video games. Phone's going off. Sorry. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell from back in the day. Since it's still summer reading program, it's games themed.
Yeah.
So the character, the protagonist, the player character, Sam Fisher, has this like night vision headset. You familiar with these?
Yeah.
And it's got 3 like lenses on it.
Yeah.
And in the game, this shows as it's like 3 glowing green lights that he's either got pulled over his eyes like goggles, or they're resting on his forehead.
Right.
It's kind of one of the signature things of that franchise is Sam Fisher's little 3-lensed thing. It's iconic. It's very cool, and it helps the player keep track of him in the dark, because it's a stealth game where he's an NSA agent sneaking around in his like neoprene bodysuit with all his gizmos. And it serves the function for the player of, I can see him because I've got these 3 dots, and it's very picturesque when there's a shadow and there's these 3 glowing lights. Real life makes 0 sense for your sneaky ninja hiding in the shadows to have 3 green lights on his forehead that you can see from across the room, and yet is somehow invisible to the people he's hiding from. It's another one of those things where totally ridiculous, and it's sort of you have to accept that, okay, these are not visible in the real world, quote unquote, of the game, but they're there just to look cool for the player. And I like those little things. It's the same as the ghost being scary for nobody.
There's no reason the ghost is going back and forth behind you.
A third trope that I like, and then this leads me to a recommendation, so maybe we'll ping pong back to you to do your recommendations after this, and then I'll give mine, which is a game, because it's still
summer reading
up at your library. I love the trope of the intrepid merchant. That's the term that TV Tropes has settled on for this. Goes all the way back to stories of Sinbad the Sailor and before, of a merchant who travels far and wide, goes through all these dangerous things and buys and sells. It's a nice little built-in occupational MacGuffin for any adventure, is going to find a treasure or sell something. It gets a lot of use in games, video games, tabletop games, because this is how players exchange in-game items. So an example, a sub-trope of this is the dungeon shop. So if you're in a role-playing game, be it tabletop or video game, your player character is fighting through this horrible cursed dungeon and all these living skeletons and demons and things, and then 5 levels deep in these catacombs there's a guy with a shop who maybe more or less rationalized by the narrative, but for the gameplay experience, it serves the purpose of, I've got too many of this thing, I need some of this thing. And, it serves that function of letting the player make some decisions about what to carry and exchange resources. But it is it's often cited as this is ridiculous.
Right.
Like Resident Evil 4, there's this creepy guy in a cloak who sells you guns in a village that's overrun by zombies. And that you're like the only uninfected person there. And he's just, what does his business model look like? How's he making his money just appearing and selling firearms to the only sentient person in this remote mountain village while there are possessed monster people everywhere? It's absurd. But you can have fun with it. It can be done well. It can be explained in various creative ways. Another variant of this trope is in sci-fi, the space trucker. I believe there's actually a movie called Space Truckers.
Oh, probably.
Which is basically just transplanting a lot of our existing, especially in North America, like the mythos of the trucker. Because it's a profession that, it's what cowboys were in the 20s, right? There's travel, there's potential for adventure. It's grueling and monotonous at times in a way that breeds certain kinds of toughness and weirdness and attracts people who have those characteristics. It's important, it's a job that we need as a society, so it has an inherent weight to it in a narrative sense. And so it's pretty straightforward to put that right out into space. And now you have space traders. And so you can just apply the same tropes of the modern day real life truckers to space. And that is kind of an easy way to make your space setting feel kind of lived in and realistic. It's not going to be this clean, shiny Star Trek future. It's like
a little grittier.
Let's just port over things like having the fuzzy dice hanging. And so you could say it's kind of a lazy thing, but it's people. It inherently, it's just recognizing that people are people and carrying that through. So it's almost like you've got to do that a little bit if you're going to have your space setting be realistic. Remember, people who are hauling freight are not going to be wearing perfectly clean spandex uniforms all the time. You're hauling freight. And so I love stuff like that. And there's a whole genre of games that are space trading games. And with that, I'm just going to hang back. I'll let you do your recommendations and then I'll do mine on that.
Well, and I was thinking as you were talking about that making space not Star Trek-y, shiny space, which I love Star Trek, so don't get me wrong.
I do as well.
But it reminds me of the show Firefly. Because they're basically space truckers going around finding merchandise, sometimes human, sometimes not, sometimes legal, sometimes not, and making a living in this wild frontier. And I like Firefly too.
That was a great show, and the fact that it ended so quickly makes me and so many people sad.
It did. It was a sad thing. So I just pulled a couple books off the shelf. We have stocked up on our summer beach reads, which tend to be romantic comedies and kind of rom-com kinds of things. And I have a couple here, but I wanted to do one other trope, which these kind of follow that trope. And that is using classical literature plots to create movies or to create a book. So, for example, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen is multiple times has been redone as a book. And not to mention, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which we've talked about before on here. But there's a Bollywood movie called Bride and Prejudice, which is actually a lot of fun. And then there are other movies based on Austen's work, based on Emma, the book Emma. You might not realize Clueless, the movie Clueless, was based on Emma. And it's a fun movie, too. I enjoy that one. But that's just another trope, is taking a plot line from classic literature and kind of remaking it into a more modern setting. And I don't know if that's truly a trope or if it's just a plot choice. I don't know. Anyway, so we have another one that is super tropey in romantic comedies, is that the two main characters hate each other. Mm-hmm. The girl usually thinks the guy is like a jerk or whatever, and they're thrown together into a situation. And this book is called Love, Lies, and Cherry Pie. And it's about... Well, I'll just read the back to you and you'll recognize the trope right away. Writer and barista Emily Hung is tired of hearing about the great Mark Chan, the son of her parents' friends. You'd think he'd single-handedly stopped climate change and ended child poverty from the way her mother raves about him. But he's just a boring, sweater vest-wearing engineer, and when they're forced together at a wedding, it's obvious he thinks he's too good for her. But Emily's mother is fixated on getting her married and has her sights set on Mark. There's only one solution. Incoming trope. Clearly convince Mark to be in a fake relationship with her long enough to end her mom's meddling. He reluctantly agrees. With each fake date, though, Emily realizes that Mark's not quite what she assumed, and maybe the Argyle sweater isn't so ugly after all. And the trope is...
What's the name? Did you look up the name?
I didn't look up the name. The trope is the one where convince him to be in a fake relationship.
Yep, I've seen that.
Oh my gosh.
So many times.
So many times. And there's some good movies that do it well that I have watched. There's a Hallmark one. I don't know if it's Hallmark or not, but it's called like the 12 Days of Christmas or something. And this girl is just sick and tired of not being invited to parties and never having somebody. So she gets this guy, she pays him to be her date, and he accepts knowing that she'll be his date for his parties because he hates going. Mm-hmm. It's actually a fun one. And then there is a book here, I just pulled it because it's called Any Trope But You, and it's basically it's a best-selling romance author who has a secret. She doesn't believe in happily ever after, and so she ends up she has a problem. She needs to get this fixed, and she ends up in a cabin, in a remote Alaska cabin, and finds herself with a handsome proprietor. And that is that. So, I mean, obviously, rom-coms and romance novels are the most obvious tropes, I think. You can find them in everything, but to me, they kind of stand out in those. And Hallmark movies have made a living out of tropes.
And I have heard, I've listened to a podcast episode on this. I don't remember which one. You can find it. About the amount of cross-pollination in terms of cast, crew, writers, directors between low-budget horror films and Hallmark romance movies, because the skill set is... Right. I mean, it's basically the same. You've got to be able to make something clean, like polished enough to work, quick and cheap. Right. The story beats it's very trope heavy of, you kind of know what you're doing if you're doing Hallmark romance or you're doing like low budget slasher movie. It's like, we have these beats, we'll write around these. We know how to do it. And I've heard that there's a lot of shared talent between those two worlds. Same. Yeah.
Well, how many movies do you suppose Hallmark pumps out in a year? I mean, for Christmas and all, and there is, if you love those, more power to you. I like a good Hallmark romance, especially around Christmas time when you want to feel that little warm fuzzy of people getting together, and isn't that sweet? And sometimes the story is well thought out. Sometimes it's not, but it's okay. It's okay to like those fluff movies. We go to be entertained.
It's okay to know where you're going.
Yeah.
To know where the story is going. It's no different from going to your favorite restaurant.
Right.
It's not, you like the food.
Right. If you order the clam chowder every time you go, same thing with the Hallmark movie. I know what I'm getting into, and I accept that.
Yeah.
And I like that. Mm-hmm. And my hot chocolate and my warm blanket, my comfy chair, all like that too.
Yep. So. And my recommendation, I have one for, since we've still got some time left in our summer reading program,
Yes.
Level Up at Your Library.
Now you sound like a radio DJ. Level up at your
Yeah, we're
library. Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
We've got Slick Johnny downtown at the street fair. He's sitting in a pool of mayonnaise taking your donations. My recommendation for this week is Endless Sky by Michael Zonizer, I think is his name. This is a game. It's a computer game. Endless Sky. It's free and open source. I'll have a link to it in the show notes. It's cross-platform. You can get it on Windows. You can get it on Mac OS. You can get it on Linux. There's at least an Android port, I think an iPhone port, although it's a little rough because it really benefits from mouse and keyboard. It is a space truckin game.
All right.
It's based on some previous games in that genre. It's big, it's, single player, and it'll run on a potato. You don't need a fancy 3D graphics capable machine for this. But if you are a fan of sci-fi stories, I highly, highly recommend this game. You don't need to have reflexes or, video game, computer game skills. If you are using your reflexes, here's a little hint, or your hand-eye coordination, you're probably playing it wrong. There's better ways to do it. But it's great. You can lose yourself in it, put on some music, and you can just sink hours into this. So if you are a reader, it is a great way to live out a story in a simple way. Doesn't cost you anything, never will. Because it is free and open source, all of the missions and objectives and things are in a great big text file. So if you hit a part that's hard, you can open that text file and skip it. If there's something hard, you can turn it off. It's all yours to read and play with just as you would a book. But it has all the sci-fi tropes you can imagine. You've got your space truckers, you've got your space pirates, you've got your empires and your rebels and your, maybe there are ancient civilizations with, all of, and then all your tropes.
Yeah.
And you can interact with them however you want. You can be a pirate. You can just spend your whole game running food back and forth between, two star systems. Yeah, just building up your money. But it starts with you have saved up enough money to take out a loan on a ship, and you have your choice of 3 models available. And from there, you just go.
Oh, wow.
So even if you're not someone who plays computer games, I highly recommend check it out.
Yeah. And
it's a great, not even a story. It's a great place to find a story and get sucked in, just like Pagemaster. You open the book and you get pulled into the world and you can spend your time in it.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we beat this dead horse. So
I think so.
If you have your favorite trope, though, come and tell us.
Let us know.
And check out, Harrison keeps changing up the DVD display because he keeps finding new tropes. And tell us again what the trope is for this week coming up.
This week, the one we've got is futile hand reach.
Right. My futile hand reach moment is Die Hard.
Hans
Gruber. So, I won't debate that, but that's what comes to mind when I think of that futile hand reach.
Yep. That's how you know it's Christmas.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all, and we will talk to you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
The Free Bin is a production of the Toledo Public Library, which is part of the Lincoln County Library District in beautiful Lincoln County, Oregon. Writing by Cindy Bilek, Sophia Kahn, and Harrison Baker. Original music by Harrison Baker. Editing by Harrison Baker and Sophia Kahn. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of any organization they represent. Good night.